Welcome, everybody. We are here to reveal the map and draw the factions for the 14-point Invitational Tournament Final. Defteris's amazing idea. I jumped on to help out, and tons of people in the community have made it happen together as a collective fun project. So the final is going to happen next Saturday, May 30th, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern. That's 1300 UTC. And the players are going to be, the players are going to be Imzen, who won game one, Matt from Space Cats Peace Turtles, who won game two, Kraken, who won game three, I blocked this one out. Magi, who won game four, Arwise, who won game five, and Jahan, who won game six. We'll review those games very briefly during this fun event. Right now, we're going to just go around the table real quick and introduce ourselves. So I'm Patience of Virtue from Canada. Go ahead, Def. Oh, Schroeder.
Yeah, I guess circle. Yeah, I'm Schroeder. I'm from Chicago, same area as Janor, otherwise known as the used carrot salesman.
Celia, or Visioness.
Hi, I'm Celia, or Visioness, depending on how well you know me. I'm from Central New York in the United States.
Deft.
Hey, everybody. My desire for this tournament's bloodshed has been satisfied, so now just play to win is what I'm going to say to the players. The rest of you, I hope you'll have a fun time watching them.
Cool. Flat Tomato. You want to say hi, Flat?
I'm meant to be talking. Hey, I'm Flat Tomato from London, UK. I'm just streaming. Yeah, that's about it.
Woo.
Last but not least.
I'm Mantis from North Carolina.
Yeah,
I like long walks on the beach.
Good to know.
In Myrtle Beach or where? Which beach?
I don't know, whichever one.
Well, it's great to have you guys, all you folks, all helping out today, and a special shout out, obviously, to Flat Tomato, who's done the lion's share of the streaming and video production and all sorts of things for the tournament. So let us get started then by reviewing the games, I think, unless anybody else has anything introductory they want to say. Defteris?
I think we are ready to do that.
Okay, cool. So game one. Celia.
Yeah, so game one. Oh man, the bane of my existence, game one. It was like 12 hours long. It was the first of the 6 games. I decided to take Lizix in red. Our cake took Hagan in white. TG Welch, Exja in blue. John took Jolnar in purple. Grizzly Bear took Yin in yellow. Imson was Sar in green. I feel like Imson and I, the Sar Lizix bond was very strong throughout the game. Yin to my right, Grizzly had sort of like no real alliance throughout the game, but eventually sort of got on the TG Welch bandwagon when he sort of felt cornered by Jolnar and Sar and I. The greatest moment of the game, of course, is now the well-known trial that we had, I think, mid-round 5, of whether or not TG Welch is a big fat liar.
Oh my god, the trial.
It was a great moment. I think it will go down in 14-point history. We all learned a lot, but Sar did take it at the end after Grizzly pretty much handed it to him. The first of the beginning of the win-making scenario that happened throughout the tournament. So I think it was well fought by everyone. I have no hard feelings for TG Welch. I think he fought really hard. It was a good game by everyone. And there was no one that was really out of it. Even though I had like no slice, I feel like it still had an avenue with Tech. And Grizzly still had some plastic on the board, even though he didn't have his home system. You know, he might have been essentially out of it, but I think he could have come back depending on what the picks were. So I don't feel like it was a game that was lost to anyone, and we all fought pretty much to the end. So,
What was the verdict in your trial?
I think in the moment, Grizzly thinks that Tyler TG was not truthful, but you know, it was pretty far in and we were all exhausted. So who really knows what's the truth anymore?
Everybody
Political
lies
non-answer.
Look, I
that
mean,
deep into
okay,
games.
I just want to say that video is or sorry, the time signal for when the trial happens is pinned in the game one thread in the tournament threads in the TI4 Discord. I think it's like the 3-hour, 38-minute mark of that particular YouTube video. And it is like 5 minutes. It's probably the best 5 minutes of TI4 I've ever watched. I was there, so I was laughing my head off. So, you know, you kind of got to watch the game to get the full flavor of it, but even in and of itself, it is like so amazing. Oh my God. It's a pretty classic moment. I mean, and on top of that, something we didn't even mention about game one is like Imzen's playing the violin like 3 or 4 different times during the game live. It was pretty cool.
It's true. I feel like we had the most talented group of individuals as far as outside of TI goes. Imson playing the violin was very special. But I felt, you know why I didn't share it, Patience, is because even though it was streamed to the world, I feel like it was really about the people at the table and not everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else on game one?
No, I think that wraps it up.
I guess we should look at the comments also. If people have things they want to say about the games, we can make sure we address those if the people are commenting on Twitch.
They haven't yet, but somebody will pay attention, I guess.
Yeah, cool. All right, on to game two then. Defterus, you were there for a good chunk of that.
I was there for game two, and all of you who haven't, you just missed out. Game 5 was something, Schroeder's going to talk about it with me a bit, but game 2 was glorious in every way TI is. From the first moment of, oh no, could this happen? SAR took so much because we gave it all to them. Let's kill SAR now. All the way to Duke Lukem's, no, you go away. My 2 destroyers will kill your fleet. And then the 2 destroyers land 6 hits. Yes.
Destroyer ones.
You ruined the punchline.
Were they?
They were destroyer ones.
No way. Oh my God.
It was amazing. It was a full armada. SAR has 7 fighters, a dreadnought, a carrier, and a space dock. All of that dies killing a single fighter. A single one.
Wow.
It all culminates into this extreme king-making scenario where SAR, even before the round where they just straight up died to extreme unluck, tells the board, yo, you guys are ending my game. I need help here or I will do weird stuff. Hey, Matt, give me 9 trade goods. So Matt does. And I think it made sense to do. SAR builds a flagship, which gets blown up 2 rounds later by Matt himself, because now I have a flagship on my border, I should kill it. It was everything TI is supposed to be with all its ups and downs. The Goblin Turtle Blood War being my favorite part, where at some point Micmac Moose takes Ivan's home system, and Ivan, instead of taking it back, take Micmacs, who unfortunately just spent their last strategy token so they couldn't null-fill them out. And this continues for the next 2 rounds, the people in those 2 home systems taking more and more of theirs, but never getting their own back. In the very last round, Keith playing Soul, just being in the background, doing nothing, just politicking his way into the win. As a fun fact, he was the one who set up all of the misfortune that befell Olo's Tsar. But Olo didn't realize this, so he tried to kingmake Keith. The kingmake unfortunately didn't work because Duke Nukem, the champion, gave the 14th victory point to Matt, as was deserved. This tournament in general, I would say, had a lot of this weird king-makiness to it, but I wouldn't say... I would say that every single victor deserved their victory, even with all of the asterisks that are being thrown around, in my opinion.
Def, there are some comments in the Twitch you may want to check out. And while you do that, I'm just going to say real quick about the queen making, king making stuff. It's really cool and fascinating to me politically how this tournament consolidated that in a competitive environment amongst experienced players. And I've actually like half written a like little treatise on that I'm going to put out. And I know there are other people, and also Brian wrote a diatribe which he sent to me about it. So anyway, it really so much has changed since the first Space Cats Peace Turtles tournament, where it was like an outrage to king make somebody, and not everybody was outraged, but many people were. Anyway,
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but the person who lost that first one, like they didn't start to win anyway, so that king making was okay.
Exactly, I agree that that's the case with game one. But I guess Root wrote like a full king making, win making paper. My husband says it's a really good read.
I have not read it, but I gotta feel like 14 pointers just from this experience, for whatever reason, it's more likely to see king making and win making.
The relationships just get way more entrenched. In 14 points, you will never get even close to victory without upsetting at least one another player in the way you just ruthlessly take from them. And at that point, yeah, they are going to throw their game. Why wouldn't they? It makes
and
perfect
your maps
sense to me.
Your map stuff might have had a little bit to do with it.
a little bit, maybe. We'll see on the finals map. I'm not going to say it's nicer, but it's definitely not like the others. At least to a T. It's a little different. But I think that's enough about game 2. I don't think it can be surmised in 5 minutes. It was just a game you had to see.
One thing that Lily definitely wants you to mention, though, are the doodles.
Oh my god, yes. So Keith, whenever you play with Panda Boy, he will draw on the board, and you will be so happy for it.
Yeah.
Just thankfully we have the first part of the game 2 actually recorded. Watch it and weep at the beauty of all the doodles, especially the Goblin Turtle Blood War and the Tsar doodles. My favorite is the fish one with the gun. You'll see if you see.
Cool. Game 3. Let's hear about it, Mantis.
Game 3 was probably a little bit more boring than what you guys have all described. There was no exciting trials or king makings or any of that. There's actually not a lot of fighting either, with the exception of Tsar and Necro were fighting most of the game.
Who was playing which faction?
Tsar, played by Blarknob, drew the I believe it was 4 industrial seeker objective, which put him in a path towards Necro slice. And after he took 2 industrials from Necro right next to their home, that kind of put them at war. There was some back and forth between them all game. Necro played by Zendog. I was playing Muat in between Zen and X-Child played by Seven, which wasn't very good spot for Muat to be in. The Graviton PDS shots on one side is, kind of a anti-War Sun strategy there. And then for some reason, Stardeck decided to feed Necro XO2s like round 2, so around 3 maybe, I forget what it was. So being between XO2s and Graviton was kind of worrying for me. But fortunately, with Tsar and Necro fighting, was able to kind of make peace with Necro. And then across the table we had Kraken playing Barony and Sardak played by Jazzarm. So Kraken took the Custodians and took a slight early lead, but Sardak was able to catch up, and for most of the game, Sardak was in the lead, which worked out for Kraken pretty well because Sardak, I think, had most of the table heat. And then going into the final round, Kraken played off that he was trying to stop a bunch of leaders all at once, and instead was scoring all of his secrets. And once the table realized that he had one secret left to score, it was too late, and at that point, it was just inevitable for him. So good job to Kraken. That was a well played game by him.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it yet, and I'm really looking forward to watching it. But the fact that Kraken, who said, and correct me if I'm wrong here in the chat, Kraken, but who said that at one point that they'd played like 30 games ish of TI4, beat like a table of people who, on average, I calculated it was like 250 plus games on average for the others. Not everybody,
Wow.
but yeah. So that's a pretty cool victory for the underdog. Cool. Game 4. I will talk about game 4 briefly. So Brian was Necro off the hop. Jefferson was beside them as tribes. That's Yssaril tribes. On the other side of Necro was the last minute fill in Kaluan because Colin had technical difficulties playing Khan. Then there was Magi as ghosts, me as Turtles, and then beside me was Quarteresque as Arborek. We were playing on the Rex this map. So it was a pretty awesome game. Magi won in the end with a double 2-point king make from Quarteresque. Um, and Kaluan had a shot at it, and I kind of had it locked up if it got to me. I was third in initiative. It was a great game throughout, though. It was a really tightly played game. I just felt it was one of the, like, it was just, I think everybody played really tight. I'm sure people made mistakes, but I didn't pick up on them at the time. And it was just a crazy experience for me, like the emotional roller coaster I went on from realizing that Quarteresque was king making Magi for 2 points. And Kaluan still did have a shot, but I don't think if that wasn't happening, that Kaluan probably would have won it. So I had it kind of lined up, and for me, that was just like I went through this emotional roller coaster. Like, oh yeah, but I attacked Quarteresque, and I'm getting nailed for it right now. But the point is, Magi played an amazing game. Especially the choice, I think, and Magi can speak for himself, but especially the choice not to really go out and stop Quarteresque from eating into his slice, because the reason Quarteresque was able to king make Magi is because he came across the board through a wormhole and not through a wormhole, from off of Mechatol, and started eating right into Magi's slice. And Magi did not overreact. He didn't put himself out of position by attacking. He just like patiently let it happen. I tried to pressure him to give up some trade goods by pressuring to take a biz from him on the other side of his slice. I pressured with a card first, and then to actually take it, which I did because he wouldn't give me trade goods. He had the 10 trade goods saved. He was just patient, calm. He knew it was a long shot to win, but he didn't blow his game. And then in the end, I think Quarteresque decided that I'd sort of not gone according to the stuff we'd talked about because he hadn't been able to fulfill his side of it, and he just decided Magi had played it cool. He hadn't overreacted to him Quarteresque eating slice, and so he king made. It was a really cool political happening, and if I would recommend like watching it, anybody who's thinking about the complexities of that. And I, as somebody already said, like I think Magi deserved the win. It was a great game. Anybody else anything on game 4?
One thing I'll just mention with all that idea is, in 14 point, I feel like also there are a lot of more long shot victories that end up having to happen. So just like the more you can hope and hold on to one of those, the better.
In general, 14 points actually has a chance for Imperium Rex, which is sort of insane.
Yeah.
Almost got to it in game 6, I think. But first, game 5. 2 players from game 5 are here, so we'll let you two talk about it together.
Yeah, so Deftress and I are here, so I guess we'll go around different parts of the map. I'll start with talking about Red Slice. So we were on Rex this, and Janor was in red as Yssaril. I was in green as my third play ever of the Arboric. And then next to me was Deftrith. We'll take it from here.
Even. Yeah.
Yep.
I was playing Mantek, my favorite faction, next to Hakan, as the table conspired for me to be.
Yes.
We
decided it was necessary.
Next to them was Vinu, and the last person at yellow was Connor with Ghost. Ruffians and Arvise being Vinu and Hakan. Honestly, I can't tell which is which.
Yeah.
Yeah, first round, I was first pick and pick construction, and I don't know if that's something people will do, but I hope so, because it was great.
It was really good for you, because, like, so as Arboric, I could have tried to start eating into you, because, like, round 1, I used Sarween 4 times because of tech, and so, like, if you hadn't had all of those PDS, I might have been less inclined to just work with you.
Yeah. So round 1, Goblins, Israel acquires Promise of Protection. They keep it until the end of the game. Make sure Mentex to only sell that carefully. Another thing that was interesting is that Ghost never made it to Mechatol until the plants got there, I think.
Yeah, so Ghosts got there after I... So I went into Ghost's slice and basically cost him a couple command counters. And at that point, I had a lot of meta heat. So in exchange for being able to score the 16 influence objective, I completely got off Mechatol Rex and gave them a good wormhole path to get whatever the hell they wanted onto Mechatol Rex.
I think the Vinu taking Mechatol, but only on their second attempt with the Rift, was what defined our game.
Yes.
Because that's when Arborek just managed to uproot Vinu by sheer dent of what Shudder could move there. Because if Arwise gets their first round, not second round, then they keep it. And Arwise just keeps it forever as Vinu, building 8 infantry on it with hegemonic trade policy. But yeah, so Mantek, right? 6 yellow, huh? Experimental tech paths.
You were 3 away from all base techs, right?
I think so. Something insane like that. No. I miss. Yes, 3 away from all base techs. That is correct.
My God.
Yeah, I built a war machine. Unfortunately, the game ended before I could dominate the whole galaxy and eliminate all 5 other players. But we were on track for doing that.
Another thing this game was probably defined by was how much we let you get away with, because you were playing a really good smart Mentak. We let you get away with a lot, which worked well for you.
My main philosophy for all of the game was, I'll make it super costly to cross me, but you can. It's an option. Go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you played incredibly. I watched and commentated on a lot of it, Deft, and I thought you played an incredibly restrained game, considering the violence you were capable of, especially when Connor goes across the map left. They're sliced wide open for you to go through a wormhole and go get with, was it 11 planets or 6 of a kind? Maybe both were on the board.
I scored both of those objectives. That is correct.
Yeah, but there was an earlier, like even earlier, you could have just taken their whole slice basically, and you restrained yourself. And anyway, it was, I was impressed with the play. Arwise though,
Arwise did a perfect game, and I loved it. It was everything you want to do as Vinu and more.
Yeah, talk about the classic Mechatol usage.
Yeah, so new Diplo allows you to refresh Mechatol. So in one of the rounds, I think the only round that he was able to do it, but he did do it, Arwise got 2 command counters and 6 resources out of Mechatol with Diplo.
It was sexy.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the least impact, surprisingly, Hakan was who had the least impact on the game, because they just could never get anywhere.
Yeah, and honestly, that's how I wanted it, because I just knew that they were, in theory, really annoying, and I didn't want their stuff interfering. I just... Yeah.
So we also made jokes at the beginning about discount SAR being Arborek. It turns out in 14 points, SAR is discount SAR and Arborek is good SAR.
Yeah. Oh man.
It was extremely terrifying. Everything that Schroeder did.
If only Arborek had Nomadic.
If only Arborek had the good things SAR has, yes.
Yep.
All right. Anything else on game 5?
Just gotta say,
it came down to a bit of king,
mm-hmm.
but Arvise 100% deserved the victory, and I 100% deserve to lose the game. Kids, just deploy your home systems. You're not smarter than deploying your home system.
Yep. Watch the last round and the second to last
and tear
round
your hair out.
Crazy stuff.
And don't take Mechatol when you've topped Ixion artifacts.
Oh my!
Don't take Mechatol with your Warsun fleet.
Let's stop talking about game 5.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
Taking sleeping medication 2 hours into a game is not a smart idea. Anyway.
Vision, tell us about game 6, which was also
all right. Game 6. So game 6 was Hunter, who was Mentak in purple, Strychnine, who was Ghost in yellow, Root, who was Nalu in green, my husband Jahan, who was Lizix in red, Robofish, who was Necro in white, and Aviator as Yin in blue.
On donuts. Right?
This was yes, on donuts, and this was deemed the friendship game before the game even started. Everyone was pretty much talking that this was going to be a very chill, mild-mannered game. There probably wouldn't be any real exciting moments. There would be no heat. It would all be friendly, and everyone would be nice, and it would be a happy Rainbow Land. But what people don't realize about my husband is that's never going to be the case with him in the game. And, I think he's not known very well, but we had to have negotiations about what it would look like for us to be able to play in TI together, because I know that he can be like that. He's freaking ruthless in games. And I think that this game really highlighted that side of him. Nalu made the mistake of taking Centauri Grawl and thinking that it was going to belong to them. And my husband had a flowchart written about Lizix in that slice, and Centauri Grawl was part of that equation, so he had to take it back. And then Meharzul, and then eventually Nalu's home system, and then Root was no longer in the game. So I think he's one to be watched. I think that he is working on making his own reputation in the community, not just being known as my husband, which is good, but also bad for everyone who was sitting at that table. I hear that Matt plans on just making his draft about not sitting next to him, and so I'm sort of interested to see how that all works out in the draft. As far as everyone else's gameplay goes, I feel like Strychnine played really, really well as Ghost. I loved his sort of tech path, which was not something that I was expecting. Hunter is a really solid player. I thought that more of a temper would come out from him. I was sort of expecting. I think my temper is really the only one that came out in that game, as I'm sitting in chat arguing with poor EJ, who's hosting, about some things that were happening. I feel like I was very passionate, and I can't imagine why, about the things that were happening in that game. Robo seemed to be pretty new to TTS, but he lived up to his reputation as Necro. And Aviator, I love that he says fill your boots. And if you are not familiar with Canadian lingo or whatever part of Canada he's from, he whips it out occasionally, and it's very adorable. So that's something to look for if you're listening to that game. Yeah, it was a good game. Fought well by all. I feel bad that Root had to leave so early, but he shouldn't have taken his slice, I guess, is the lesson that he learned in that game.
Yeah, it was there was a lot of Necro and L1 on the map at the end, and it was close, right? Necro had opportunities. I thought it was tight at the end between L1 and Necro, between
Yeah,
Robofish
and
and
I
Freon.
tried sleeping patience, and this is how it goes, right? Like I tried not like looking over his shoulder at the end and like watching everything that was happening. By the way, you're on my account and you're talking on my account.
Yeah.
Um
He knows.
he like woke up, or I like woke up to him like freaking out because he made like some mistake. He's like, I just punted the game. I swear at one point he was crying. So for me, I was like, am I dreaming? Is this real? I don't know what's actually happening. And then the last 10 minutes of the game, I was like, okay, you just need to wake up and watch what's actually going on so that you can talk about this at some point in the future. But it was a very clearly emotional game. John was super invested in what was happening. And I think that's everyone at the table. It was another long, well-fought game.
Cool. And all of them, as Deft is saying in the chat, were really special in different and amazing ways. None of them happened on Rex This, which was one of the 3 maps.
Not
So,
Rex this.
sorry, none of them
Exotic
happened.
Beast.
Yeah. So without further ado, take it away to introduce the finals
So,
map.
drum rolls and all that.
I'm so excited.
Oh,
Exotic Beast 3.0.
Oh
Feast your
my.
eyes upon the dread that it signifies. Let us not forget
mean-
that dread is speaker.
We should have expected this would happen when it was played on Nobody Played On.
It has been changed somewhat.
Yeah, but it's 3.0, Schroeder, not 2.0.
Okay, all right.
Tiny changes have been enacted. A big takeaway from the tournament was that people actively picked the red slice on Donuts and on Rextis too. Clearly,
I loved the red slice.
It wasn't bad enough. People told me to make it better and it made it too good. So instead of trying to make it bad enough, I figured, well, people are forcing the best race to sit in white. So yeah, white now has 3 planets. They a grand total of 4 resources. Have fun.
Oh god. That makes sense. And also like this right here, and if they don't get warfare or start with a blue, oh god.
Now, if you actually war and go for your equidistance and you have some way to gain influence, you can have a good slice. There's Abyss Freya, there's Kornik Reskunan. You also have 2 skips, so it's livable. Another change from the original version is that Abyss Freya and Barrier got exchanged. Purple was not good enough. They needed a bit of influence. And they also usually don't need the skip because they just go to their equidistance, right? But the team is the same still. There are wormholes. They should take your shit. If that's not happening, then yellow and purple will have an easy time.
You know, I'm gonna be honest. It'll be interesting, really interesting to see what lands up where, because this is almost in a lot of cases more fun of a slice than yellow. Just really depends on what's going on with what red does. Because yeah, this equidistant, if speaker wants it, they can get it. Then you have a wormhole in the middle of your slice, and maybe purple goes this, so maybe you only have this, or you have to struggle. I don't know. A lot of things
well,
could
if
happen.
you only have these 2 planets, that's still somewhere around 11 resources. Well, 11 value.
True.
Call it.
Mantis, what are you thinking as you're looking at this thing? This monstrosity.
The whole conversation around having 2 carriers and 4 infantry kind of goes out the window with this map, it looks like. There's very few slices, with the exception of the yellow one, where you can actually take 4 planets with 2 carriers, 4 infantry, unless you get gravity drive. So that kind of throws half those faction advantages out, unless they're a blue faction, right? So, Soul still can gravity drive and get whatever they need. But your other factions that don't have that luxury are going to be suffering.
Well, let us hope that our players will bring out some good thing from the map. I think this one is going to be great for more passive play, but it still requires some aggression. Not like Rexes and Donuts, but still, you'll need to draw up those borders, or they will be drawn up upon you.
Yeah. So the other thing so red's got doesn't have a whole lot in their slice, but red's very defensive, right? So assuming green doesn't start with anti-mass, they have the blue skip, so it's likely that they'll skip anti-mass for gravity drive anyways, which kind of gives red 2 walls.
Good point.
So if they can use those walls to their advantage and hold the 2 choke points, I
Mm-hmm.
think they'll do fine. If they can't hold the choke points, or if green starts with anti-mass, then it's a different story. But
Yeah, if I were sitting in red, I would try to get Armin Mir and Tekron, but not Torcan, to make sure that my neighbor stays happy.
Well, let's make it all a little more real and draw the factions that will be playing. 7 factions, 6 of which will be playing on Saturday, next Saturday, May 24th at 9 a.m. Eastern, 1300 UTC. Let's do it. So we're going to have a rotation starting with Mantis, then Fissioness, then Schroeder, drawing factions out. So we'll start with Mantis, end with Mantis.
Ooh,
Strong off the bat.
all right, well, that changes the math to red because green is now a pretty good slice for Sar.
All right, Visioness, your pull.
Shuffle it up good.
Ooh,
All
I
right.
thought,
All right.
I thought Patience put the 7 he wanted on top, so we weren't supposed to shuffle.
You got to keep shuffling.
You're doing well so far. I love it. 2 of my favorites.
All right, let's see what comes.
Oh, more violence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If
All
there
right,
was 3 factions that said blood, it would be these 3 factions. I'm
back
all
to
for
you,
it.
Mantis.
Yes!
If there was 4
More
factions.
All right, we just need to add like Mentak and I don't know,
Okay,
Muat
okay,
in here,
Visioness. You're up, Celia.
and Barony. Those are the
All
3
right.
we need to add.
I think I'd like to see my husband play Arborak.
Agreed. Somebody should play Arborek. Wrong green faction.
You know, if we can get Extra and Winu in here to maybe force Matt to play Winu, I'd be happy.
Hey, at least we got a 4 commodity faction in the pile now, right?
Yeah, that's true. All right, you're up.
My draw?
Shrug.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's RO.
Oh, wow. That's
So,
definitely...
Fighty
So are we
boys?
rehashing the Goblin Turtles Blood War, or?
I can
Oh, no.
see the cogs working in my husband's head already as he watches this.
All right, last but not least, let's see it. What's number 7?
Mantis?
Mantis. That's your cue.
Sorry.
There it goes.
I guess with the Warhol setup, we're gonna have to have
God.
good, right?
Oh.
Wow, that is wild.
I'm just saying, we can have a wormhole here and here to finish the pattern. I'm just saying, we could do that.
Oh boy. Oh
Wow.
boy.
All right, who's got
I love
analysis
it.
first? Who'd like to go first with analysis?
You know, I love Necro, but I'm gonna really want to make sure that I'm not next to Sardak and Extra.
That feels like a bad time, probably, if you're sitting between those two.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Real question
trading
is-
wise, it's going to be really interesting because there's not, a Hakan at the table. You don't have to worry about pillage. It's going to be an interesting trading game.
I really want to see round 1 trade going in a way where I'm just gonna not refresh you because we are at war. Sorry.
Round 1, we're already at war. Sorry.
Well, maybe not. Maybe there's no need for that, but I would love to see that, especially with these races, with Necro, for example, sitting in red, right? You just don't refresh yellow. Why would you?
I think having both Sar and Necro in this really makes white, like, one of those 2 factions is probably gonna be sitting in white, right? And either one is, I mean, obviously Sar in
Necro,
white
no.
is
Necro does not
very...
want white.
No, you're
White-
right.
Necro will die in white.
I don't know what will happen to Necro just because they are so strong in a 4-point game, but Sar will
True.
be
True.
will really benefit from sitting in white or green for that matter.
Necro is so strong that they might get as much technologies as I did in my game.
Yeah, but the white seed is way too slow of a start for Necro.
Yeah, no, I agree. But they are third pick, right? So they're gonna get either warfare, trade, or whatever, leadership.
Something
or tech.
livable.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you get one of
They're
the
not going to get
trifecta.
stalled out. Yeah, they're not going to get stalled out on warfare. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But still, like, what you push forward and then you use warfare to get this? It's not even almost worth it.
No, you take warfare and go to Abyss Freya. Now you have
Yeah,
Abyss Freya.
if you have warfare. I mean, I don't think that anybody is gonna let a Necro here have warfare. Because
Okay, but what else do you take from them? Trade. They are happier with trade than with warfare, right?
Perhaps.
No, I think they just build plastic and plunk it in the empty space and get
Yeah.
ready for round. Get ready for round 2. Like take Tiba and plunk. Yeah.
I think our players will be still riding the Fear the Clan of Sar train, and Sar will end up there, and Sar will be having a jolly old good time here. Like these two systems, I don't think they're part of the green slice if white is Sar.
So Sar and white is beholden to tech, because if tech stalls Sar out there, then Sar has a bad first round. If tech pops early, then that's a pretty good slice for Sar.
If Sar sits in white, right? Yeah, they sort of need that grav drive.
Right.
Yeah,
so assume they don't
grav drive.
Right. So the worst case for Sar, if they're in that seat, is warfare and tech are picked in front of them, and they're stuck with trade. Let's say.
But then
that's all right. You can pay people to not screw with you. Then.
Yeah,
exactly. So
if you have trade, then you pay for good tech timing.
So we've talked a lot about the good races with the bad slices. Let's talk a bit about the good slices with the bad races.
Is there no Wella on this map, Def? Oh, there it is. I see it now. Okay.
Yes, it's over here.
I've heard a lot of people talk about parking the extra flagship here, but I don't think it works when there's ghosts.
Yep, that's probably not a smart idea with ghosts in the game.
Yeah, even without ghosts, it's terrifying. Maybe you can make some sort of deal with blue so that you're happy, but oh god.
Honestly, I don't think you put the flagship there. I think you put the flagship here and just gobble up this.
Something we've neglected to do, which I think we were just assuming everybody understands. Really quick, we should review the start. What's going to happen at the start of the game? So what's going to happen at the start of the game is these are the factions. This is the map. The players are going to sit down and roll, and that is going to determine draft order. And when they draft, the players will be able to choose between faction or slice. So the question is, what are people going to do? Are they going to prioritize Sar and Necro? Are they going to prioritize slices?
I would first pick Necro.
Then you're going to end up in white. Is that what you want?
That's fine. As Necro, I don't really care how I start. If I start slow, I find that people underestimate me as Necro, and then I'm able to catch up however the hell I need to.
Yeah, fair enough.
So if you're in a draft that feels like Necro is going to be forced into white, you probably don't want the blue seat, because if you force Necro into white and they don't get the right strategy card timings, they're going here and here, and then their whole fleet's on your doorstep.
Yep.
So if that's what happens, blue's probably gonna need some help.
I think Sar gets taken first. I'd rather have Sar in white than Necro in white, to be honest.
So let's say that both Sar, Necro, and the yellow slice are taken. What would you pick at that point? None of the super big hitters and the cookie cutter pick is already done for slices.
Purple, hands down. I might even take purple before yellow.
Yes, but not even gonna pick a race. Just purple is good enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know. I'd rather have a skip, I guess. Maybe I'd take red.
Honestly, red has the ability to pretty easily get 3 tech skips, and you can probably work out a way to get 6 planets.
Yeah.
So if you're the first person to pick a slice, what factions are you stuck with? Extra on Sardak, or do you think Ghosts is in the
I
final
think
pick as well.
I think Extra doesn't get played.
Right. The
Ghosts
final
in this
two
map is god tier because of the wormhole placements. Like, oh god, a wormhole in front of 4 people's slices. That's terrifying.
So if you're picking a slice, you got to pick a slice that can work with one of these two, then, right?
I don't know.
True.
I'm not taking Yssaril on this map, so I would throw them in there.
Yssaril fine.
Yssaril just doesn't have the meat. I don't
Yssaril
think.
and yellow is actually a pretty good pick, right? Because they've got the 2C 4I, so they take both of these right away. If they're stuck with Diplo, they might be able to work out a scenario where they take this, Diplo it, and get Hyper round 1 and Meiji on round 2, which is
That's
you know,
not nothing.
good,
I agree to that.
Yep.
Celia, you haven't been saying much. What are you thinking?
So my thought is that no one is going to take Necro. And the reason I say that is because I don't think that anyone is going to come into the game wanting to look aggressive. And I think Necro looks more aggressive than SAR does. And all the other factions aren't really aggressive races.
Well, you just set your husband up for being aggressive, so
Yeah, he wants to fight that reputation.
I don't think the finals will be when he fights the reputation.
I don't know. There's
Only
too many
time will tell.
faction tax.
it's extra on Sardak as the final pick.
Yeah, I would probably, if I was 4th pick, I would probably take red. So if I'm 4th pick and SAR, Necro, and yellow, or yellow is gone, I would probably take red and wait and see on turtles versus, I don't know. I'm actually okay with any of these, to be honest.
Yeah,
Ghost
yellow
is
just
really-
accommodates all races.
Yeah.
The other thing is not being SAR's neighbor is a plus. So looking at the seats in a
True.
vacuum is one thing, but knowing that by picking a certain seat you guaranteed not to be neighbors with SAR is going to boost some seats. So you'll have to wait and see what seats are available and who's got SAR and where they'll likely end up.
Are we neglecting Twitch comments? Have there been people making lots of
They
comments? in
seem to
Twitch?
think that Yssaril is going to be last pick and that everyone is going to be, it's going to be a bloodthirsty game.
Yeah.
Good.
I just don't want to play Yssaril in a bloodthirsty game is my problem. I'd much rather play turtles. I don't know.
Well, if Yssaril is here, yeah, I mean, they probably can't get this. They can probably, I don't know. You're right, just with the amount of blood here, unless Ghosts is here, I think that they probably are going to have a bad time.
My main worry is that the players will underestimate 14-pointer Sardak Nor if they don't know.
Oh yeah.
If they don't know the terror that it is.
14-point Sardak Nor is really, really good. I don't think if I got to play Sardak in yellow, I would be a happy boy.
But isn't Sardak going to be middle?
I think Sardak Nor is too good a race for yellow, honestly.
Yeah,
isn't Sardak going to be like middle of the pack though? Like I figure Sardak ends up in blue or green, probably more like, right?
Which is crazy to me. If I was playing on this map, Sardak would be my first choice.
So
over
interesting.
SAR or Necro?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Sardak, all the way.
do we think that the race distribution is something like this?
Something like that, yeah. I mean, I would say that there is a
something like
step
this,
in between the big hitters.
Sure.
I would put it like that.
Yeah.
Personally, I would put it something like this, and I would just first pick Necro every time because whoa.
Bye, Necro.
You pick it so strongly, it's now gone.
Bye, Necro.
All right, well, Necro's gone.
Well, on that point, unless people have, because we're already a few minutes over our 45-minute time, and I know Hunter's potentially being patient with us here to get some Space Cats, Peace Turtles action going. Should we make any final comments and then do the sign off? before we start, because I might forget, I just want to point out that the victory prize has been amplified. So committed to an IOU for a potential future expansion box if that ever happens for TI4. So the winner will have an IOU, which I'm good for. And then, but more recently, Phil Wah, the one of the custodians of the TI4 Discord, has been creating a beautiful trophy. I don't know if people have seen that. Have you folks seen that thing? It's like a hand-sized dreadnought painted gold. Have you seen this on the Discord?
I have seen pictures of it. It looks majestic and perfect.
Yeah. I am very sad I didn't win my game.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like a hand-sized dread that is painted gold. It's beautiful. So that's the trophy that you do not have to wait IOU for. So there are two trophies, a box and a dread. And thanks, Phil, for that beautiful creation. So yeah, then any final thoughts before we sign off and encourage people to watch on next Saturday, May 30th at 9 a.m., starting at 9 a.m., 1300 UTC.
Yeah, my final thought is I need people to keep me company over the next week as my husband loses himself in charts and flow charts and his map and everything else.
Well, see, I got invited to a Tuesday night, 8 p.m.-ish, like, what do you call that? Like homebrew game with Tactic Blue, using Tactic Blue's bag. So if you want in on that, if you like homebrew, I've never done it before, but I'm going to try.
His factions are so good.
Yeah.
Right. I have some words for our players, for the finalists. All of them deserve to be sitting at the table. All of them have made extremely good plays and in general kept a cool head when they could have made mistakes like not deploying their home system. This is an endurance game, first and foremost, in 14 points. And on scoring, also, you just make sure that you are safe. Don't let others shed your blood. You should make sure you're the one shedding the blood.
Hey, can we just go over the finalists one more time, because we haven't really done that since the beginning. So let's name the finalists again.
Go ahead. We have Game One's Imson, very good European player. Looking forward to more cool shit from him.
Yeah, the originator of the cheesy bread barony start.
Yep.
Also a really nice guy.
Yeah, and he plays a
super
violinist in game. Okay, second is Space Cats Peace Turtles Matt, who talked a lot of underdog talk going in and pulled out the W. So no more messing around, Matt. There's no more talking yourself underselling yourself now. You're in the big leagues in the final here. Game 3, Mantis. You want to talk about Kraken? You played.
Yeah, Kraken. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I've never played with Kraken.
He played a very good game. He managed to fly under the radar. I think he was using Sardak's lead as a cover for his own plans, and he definitely played that well. Played off the whole, I'm just trying to stop the winners. He was trying to stop Sardak and then coming after me as Muad. I wasn't really as in contention as Sardak, so when he claimed he was trying to stop me, I think that's kind of when it looked like he was doing his own thing at that point, which is what you're supposed to do. So I think, but at that point, it was too late for him to stop him. So he's good. He timed his move very well, and I'm looking forward to good things for him in the final.
Nice. And Magi, I just got to say, again, in a tournament final, like there's just no doubt of Magi's quality, both as a player, but also as a political player, right? Because he literally won our game by getting a 2-point king make. So that reflects, I think, his diversity of talents.
If I remember correctly, hasn't he gotten into every tournament finals through some kind of king making?
No, I don't think so. He hasn't been in every tournament finals. Like he wasn't in the Space Cats Peace Turtles final, the recent one. But he was in the semis. He wins games. He wins competitive games one way or the other. the most consistent of all the community, I would say. So that's saying something. Okay, and game 5, shorter, deft, Winu.
Vinu.
Yeah.
So I was
Gotta
making
love
jokes
it.
throughout the game about how we should engineer it so that R-Rise wins, but R-Rise won it completely on his own. He played an extremely good game. I'm looking forward to what he does here. There's unfortunately no signature underdog faction for him to play, but let's see what he does with middle of the road ones. I'm looking forward.
Mm-hmm.
And
last but not
then
least, Celia.
Yeah. I joke a lot. You know, I say a lot of funny things, but my husband is a super analytic player. I think he plays a strong game. He thinks a lot about the things he's doing and why he's doing them. He's very quiet. You know, he doesn't have a super strong social game, but when he does speak up in game, it's usually something, you know, significant. I would almost deem him silent but deadly. I think he's one to watch for sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you each and all for participating in this. Thanks to everybody, like dozens and dozens of people, for all the things they've done to make this fun tournament possible. We did say, yeah, that the weekend was like, you know, the whole point, and it really was a fantastic weekend at TI4. And thankfully, except for the second half of game 2, we have it all on video, and that playlist is kicking around for people. But you know, the final is going to be an amazing game coming up this weekend. I'm really looking forward. We have like a full lineup of different commentators doing the beginning, middle, and end, with Duke Lukum, who's an awesome game commentator, anchoring the thing. You know, he will take breaks, like significant breaks, to rest up a bit, but he will be there for most of it, and then others will cycle through. Flat Tomato once again is streaming. The first half of the game will be moderated by Space Lawyer, who is a real lawyer, from Germany, and then it will be silent moderated by Lily from the Netherlands, and then so that'll be like the Space Cats Peace Turtles tournament style moderation, splitting the duties, and then the second half of the game will be the active moderator speaking will be TG Welch. And I'm not sure we've 100% pinned down the silent moderator. I probably have, but I'm just forgetting right now. But there's a couple of people we've asked. So yeah, that's the team, and it'll be epic. It'll be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. So thanks to everybody for today and for the games that have already happened and the game to come. Anything else, Deft, as the originator of this tournament?
If I had to say one thing about the tournament, is I would repeat that this has been an amazing community thing that we band together and did. And I'm very happy for all of the extremely good TI that was played, and looking forward to the finals, because these games are going to be the best of the best, I think. We have the players that are the best of the best, after all. Objectively measured, right?
Yeah, very objectively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Deft and I, like, okay, who should we invite? No, that person, no, that person. Yeah, very objectively.
Super objective.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, folks, for coming, for spending an hour with us today.
And thank you, Deftress. Thank you, Patience.
And thank you to all the people who helped with the small things. You're the real lifesavers.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure working with everybody. All right, signing off. See you folks.
See you next weekend.
6 days.
See
Good
ya.
luck with the spreadsheets. Celia, I hope you survive them.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm sure you might update throughout the week.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Talk to y'all soon.